Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Elevate Your Game. My name is Mrs. Denise Parker, and I am here to help you elevate your life, your mind, and also your future. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you to learn all the different career opportunities, learn the different aspects of how you can succeed in life, and most importantly, how you can those next steps, how to apply it. But before we get started with Elevate Your Game and the Entrepreneurs Academy, I want to welcome my co-producer and HBCU student liaison assistant with the bestest, Miss Faith Denby. Oh, Faith, welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, how are you doing today, Faith?
I'm good. Today has been a really good day. I was outside. The sun was nice. It was a little hot, but it was nice.
Yes, and you're almost finished with school.
Oh, don't remind me.
Summertime is almost near. So, what do you have for us today?
Alrighty, so we're gonna go get into some announcements. So starting with our announcements, we want to remind you guys that April is Autism Awareness Month. And so we're gonna get into a little bit of what autism is. Autism is a developmental disability that generally appears before the age of 3 years old, impacting the normal development of the brain in areas of social interaction, communication, and cognitive function. So, individuals with autism struggle with verbal and nonverbal communication, social interactions, and leisure or play activities. Essentially, you'll see this in small children, and they don't really talk to other people. They prefer to play by themselves. And a lot of times it comes with delayed speech. So sometimes children with autism don't speak at the typical age. And going into our HBCU fact and continuing with Autism Awareness Month, we're going to acknowledge the Bulldog Life program, which is learning independence, fostering education, and employment. And this program educates and provides information to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to increase leadership opportunities and inclusive participation in their communities' activities. So this is happening at Alabama A&M. They are trying to highlight and encourage their students with intellectual disabilities to be involved on campus and to be in places of power on campus and have their voice heard, specifically within the fact that they have a learning disability and can relate to a lot of people that also because students with learning disabilities get a little more left out on college campuses. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
they also help them with learning work skills and stuff like that to make sure that they can earn a living wage. So that's a really awesome opportunity. Alabama A&M doing their thing. Thank you guys. Thank you.
and they've
We
started a
also
trend. It is going on at other HBCUs as well.
Yes. So for this information, if you are suffering from any learning disability or you know people who are and they want to go to college and they want to have a regular normal life and just keep advancing and elevating it, then contact Alabama A&M University, the Bulldog Life. The program director is Sharon Brown. The number's there. Scan that QR code to find out more and to get the information. Okay. So I want to announce this next one because it's kind of dear to my heart. It's relating to our autistic and learning disabilities and intellectual disability people who we're highlighting this month is On My Own as a program. It's based out of Los Angeles County, and they have an opening position for people like you and I who can actually assist those who are living with those learning and intellectual disabilities. They're supported living skills and independent living skills workers. It's an actual position, and you're going to be provided with ample training to support the individuals with intellectual disabilities, communication, budgeting, safety, home maintenance. You'll learn all these different things of how these people are going to actually, work in those particular positions, and you'll work directly with them, going with them onto the job to help them with their day-to-day activities, make sure they're doing it correctly and they're adhering to the policies and procedures at their workplace. It's for high school grads, and college grads are welcome to apply. Interested in serving and assisting people with disabilities, and it's a plus for those people who are interested in getting in this space, especially working in social work and mental health. All right, here's the QR code to apply. Definitely scan it Again, this is based in Los Angeles. Also, go ahead and you can stake this one. Faith, go ahead.
Okay, if you would like to join the NCRF team, we are looking for some peer advisors. If you're in the San Diego area and you want to work with kids that are under the age of 18 and you are good with math and English, come join us. We are looking to expand our team. If you are a college student or a recent grad and you can pass a criminal background check, then come work with us. Our San Diego team is looking to expand. So come join
Great.
us. Very good to have.
Yes, scan that QR code and you can email tsell@ncrfoundation.org. Okay. It is recruiting time for our high school students and also our junior college transfer students, where there's an HBC football combine at the end of April. But before we even go even further, we have a special guest I want to bring to the announcements. Mr. Cortez Baker, thumbs up. Are you ready? Yes, Cortez, tell us a little bit about who you are and why you're here.
What's up, you guys? Yeah, my name is Cortez Baker. I'm a student athlete coordinator for the National College Resources Foundation. I am a FAMU grad. Let's go Rattlers, face, let's go Rattlers. I have a bachelor's in psychology, minor in criminal justice. I was also a 4-year athlete at FAMU as well. And we're just putting together this showcase, and we got some great things coming.
So you got a basketball showcase this weekend. What is this what kind of colleges are gonna be there?
Yeah, so we have Division I colleges, HBCUs. We have some NAIA HBCUs. We have over 42 HBCU coaches that will be at our men's and women's basketball showcase starting tomorrow and on Saturday as well. We're actually currently hosting them right now at this restaurant, getting ready to take them to the circus. We just got them off from the airport today, so.
You guys are going to the Universal Circus, which is an awesome experience. If you guys never experienced the Black Circus, or also known as the Universal Circus, it is an amazing experience. That's one of our partners. We do support the Universal Circus because it highlights the achievements of Black art and creativity and acrobatics and all these great stuff. So you want to make sure you support events like this. Right now they're in Los Angeles and they should be traveling eventually to a city near you. So check that out. But yes, you're going to be doing the basketball showcase at Linwood High School. Is that correct?
Yes. So the men's will be at Linwood High School tomorrow. Registration starts at 3 p.m. The women's will be at Fireball High School, and that's the same. Registration starts at 3 p.m. as well. We are allowing walk-ups. They will have to pay a $20 fee, but we have over 300 athletes registered as well.
Excellent. And then later on, you are going to have an HBCU football combine. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yes. So on our football combine later on this month, April 28th and 29th, we will do the same thing. We will have probably about 40 HBCU coaches coming out to Linwood High School. And we'll have these athletes going through different drills. The coaches will be putting them through different challenges. And these athletes will be out here showcasing their skills and working to get some type of scholarship or some type of money to go to school.
Excellent. Do you want any of your coaches to shout out or anything? What are you going to do?
I need my family rallies to come pull up to our showcase. That's all I need.
All right. Thank you, Cortez, for joining us, and have a wonderful day at the circus.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great one.
All right. Bye. All right. Sounds fun to me. They got a lot going on. So we also have this wonderful opportunity for high school students in the greater Atlanta area. You can jumpstart your healthcare career. Scan that QR code with NP, that's Nurse Practitioner Boot Camp for teens. Receive coaching, learn healthcare basics, mock clinical procedures, learn about CPR, first aid training. It's in person in Atlanta. You can go to the QR code to learn more information, or you can go to npstudentmagazine.teachable.com. Those interested in healthcare, that's a wonderful opportunity. And then we also have this. Go ahead, Faith. You could talk about this.
Okay, so if you are 16 years and older and looking to get into a career, but you're not sure if school's going to work out for you with that career, you can definitely start to look into the Nevada Help Desk Tech Support Services. You can learn about cybersecurity, digital marketing, IT specialists, and a whole lot more in the world of tech. and qualify for tuition coverage in case you figure out the school does work out for you. And so you should scan to apply, or you can text the number and see if, get a little bit more information and see what they have available. But yeah, if you want to go into tech.
Yeah, I love this opportunity because you can get a skilled, trained career while in high school. Eventually, when you graduate from the program and get placed in a company, you can make up to 6 figures. And if you qualify in the income brackets, your tuition will be covered. So please don't sleep on this. The help desk is always helping me. So you should be able to get these skills too. Also, we want to highlight, we're super excited. Shout out to the recruiter, Lacey Craig from T-Mobile. She is now, and the company is going to be working with us. There are partner spotlight today. We just signed our contract. There's various roles and locations available. We want to just really highlight high school diploma and GED or college graduates are, all can apply on that if they meet those requirements. If you love working with people, this is a wonderful opportunity from all types of career opportunities within T-Mobile, not just in their retail sales, but tech, business to business, customer care roles, excellent training. There's growth in the company. Your benefits start 90 days after you start working, 90 days. And you get commission on, if you're in sales, you get commission on all the things that you're selling, down to the materials, to the plans. If you just love working with people, this is an opportunity. And here's a highlight: tuition reimbursement. They do that for up to 9 schools. And also they work out some options for those who are not attending those 9 schools. Then they have some tuition reimbursements on a smaller cap. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Please consider working with T-Mobile. We're going to be sending people their way. Thank you, Lacey, for joining our team. Also, I want to highlight one of our LinkedIn. I get hit up with LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn, I'm so heavy on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has sent me so many different internship opportunities. So this week's LinkedIn Weekly Spotlight internship is Hello Sunshine. Hello Sunshine is an entertainment company owned by He is an amazing entertainer, producer, director. And you know her if you saw her, if you saw Legally Blonde or anything like that. It's a wonderful opportunity to work. They have a CEO that is Black. I'm super happy about a COO that is Black. And she loves diversity. So this is a wonderful opportunity. It's an internship at an entertainment company. College and MBA students can apply. You're going to be doing this internship between June and August. The deadline's going to close soon. So scan that QR code to apply if you're interested in working in film production and any type of projects in the entertainment industry. Well, let's get started.
All right, give us one quick second to get this together. Alrighty, guys. So today we are going to get into a very fun segment on. Give us 1 second. We're going to pull everything up for you guys.
Hi, guys. Sorry about that. Always fun. Oh, goodness. Okay, so let's introduce our special guest. Thank you, Faith, for holding it down. Let's get to it. Dr. Elñora, are you ready? Dr. Webb? Thumbs up? Thumbs up? Yeah, she's ready. Okay, welcome. And I want to introduce.
It's my honor.
Oh, thank you. And I want to introduce Miss Aaliyah Duah. Hello, guys. The show must go on despite all this stuff. Welcome to the stream. You guys feeling good? Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome.
Feeling wonderful.
Yes, great.
Thank you for joining us. What's today's topic for our Elevate Your Game, Miss Faith?
Today's topic is going to be finances and how you can build success with just your mindset. And so, how are you going to build some healthy habits so that your business will continue to be successful?
I love it. How does this topic how does this resonate with you guys? This, building wealth with your mind and that leads to your business success. How does that resonate with you guys? Anybody can jump in and then you can introduce yourself.
All right, so I'll go introduce myself. I am Aaliyah Duah. I'm a 20-year-old senior business major at Virginia State University, and I'm also the CEO of Financial Revolutionn, which is my business where I teach financial literacy, and my goal is just to help build generational wealth in the Black community. And to answer the question, I generally feel like everything starts with your mind. Like before you do anything, it starts with a thought, right? So before you go eat or before you go play a game, before you go to sleep, like you have to tell yourself you're tired. So I think it's the same concept with business or with making money and with being successful. You have to tell yourself that you want to be successful, and your mind has to tell yourself to do all the things and to make all the actions that align with whatever success looks like for you. So I generally just believe that, everything starts with your mindset.
And just real quick, there's a special announcement. You're a winner of the 2023 McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Change Leaders. I say change makers, but change leaders.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations. What
Thank
an
you.
honor. Highlighting other people who are like-minded like you. Do they own businesses too, just like yourself? Or how was that?
Yeah, so basically, McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Change Leader is a annual thing that McDonald does to highlight 10 business owners, and not just business owners, also just people who are change leaders in their communities, people who are doing things. So amongst our 10 that got selected, there are people who are changing the educational system in like LA, people who are fighting against, social action and for social justice and gun violence reform and things like that. Like we have all types of people. We have somebody who has a business called Justice for Black Girls, right? So it's a bunch of different people who are doing different things. We have somebody who's in a filmmaking industry and changing, how Black people are portrayed in movies and things like that. So it's a bunch of different people, different things, but we have our like community that we created where 10 people got highlighted by McDonald's, and McDonald's is running a national campaign on us for a year, and also giving us money to fund our businesses or any endeavors that we would like to do.
There's one thing I just want to say, congratulations again, and how wealth is chasing after you because you're doing the things necessary, because you have the mindset. Wealth would just chase after you.
Yes.
Thank you, Aaliyah, for joining us for today's conversation.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And introduce yourself, Dr. Webb.
It's an honor. My name is Elñora Webb. And for family members, baby girl Mitchell. And for other family members, Enriquez Moat. That just honors all the family. I want to thank you, Aaliyah, for beginning. You lead by example. And the reason why you're highlighted is because of your internal genius that you choose to share. So I'm extremely proud of you. And I'm also proud of you two, Denise, and your wonderful support lead here. You're demonstrating for the rest of the community how we can literally choose to focus and add value and make a transformative difference, not just a difference for ourselves and our family, yet for other people. And that's been my legacy. I don't know why, even as a child, I found that my life was saved through reading, through learning, through feeling that I didn't want to feel. And then I wanted other people to experience the same. So it wasn't surprising that I ended up in higher education for almost 40 years, retired only to stay in education in different ways. And now in the financial services arena, where our team and I, expanding team, literally our goal is 1 million families financially independent within 10 years. We believe that big goals are the best goals. The goals that we don't know how to achieve are the best goals because that's where we push ourselves. And as Aaliyah said much more effectively than I'm going to, what we think, we create. We think into results. And there are a lot of books, exceptional books, New York Times winning books that convey that in a variety of different ways. So, Aaliyah, you hit the nail on the head.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, all of you guys, for just joining us and speaking of this wonderful topic. Today, we're really getting into our Entrepreneurs Academy and our mindset, how wealth how the wealthy mindset leads to business success. And you guys already spoke upon it, but what is financial education in business?
So I would say, from my point of view, financial education in business is knowing your numbers, right? So a lot of times as a business owner, like exactly how you handle your personal finances is basically what you're going to need in your business, right? So your business, you have profit, you have losses. In your business, you have to you're making money, right? But now you have to figure out how to grow that money or how to reinvest that money into your business to create more assets and create a bigger business, So knowing financial education is knowing how to do that for your business, right? And also how to pay yourself. There's a lot of entrepreneurs and people who become business owners, right? Because they want to have another source of income, but they don't know how to pay themselves. And that's actually something that like I had to learn, like, okay, a portion of this money is going to go to myself and a portion of this money is going back into my business. Sometimes there's entrepreneurs who, make money and they just spend it on themselves only. All they do is know how to pay themselves, right? So knowing how to reinvest your money, right? So I think just essentially knowing your numbers, knowing what to do with the money that's coming in, and also knowing how to make money, how to, get a credit card, a business credit card, setting up a business bank account, right? Separating your personal finances from your business finances. So that's financial education when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and at the core of what you just said, Aaliyah, is really one's own attitudes, understanding, and beginning with one's own mindset around money and around business. So I would add to that a knowledge, a set of attitudes and skills that will make for sound choices and decisions that are made regarding that business. And so I made a point to just think aloud to myself. What does one want to do with their business? Typically, they want it to grow. They want to protect it, right? And they want it to be free from a lot of constraints. That includes taxes. So you have to structure it correctly to begin with. And people who are building, who are entrepreneurials, building something, whether it's in the art arena or whether it's in engineering, whether it's in climate change, whatever it is in, education, financial services, typically they're not thinking about the big picture initially. They're jumping in because they're fierce, they're passionate. And so the question is how to ensure that someone's successful as they leap in. So they may not have the kind of insights that you have, Aaliyah, or for that matter, the rest of us. What they do, if they jump in, I encourage folks to always have a coach, a mentor, someone who's already been there, done it, and done it well, successfully, and with values that you appreciate. They function with integrity. So then you can watch them, you can ask them questions, you explore deeply. And as you are building and building out and building for success, using those fundamental things you just shared, Aaliyah, much more, then all of a sudden you're building a solid foundation as opposed to rushing in and you don't understand why things are falling apart because you built it on quicksand. It was not solid. So I would say that. And so, what is financial education with regards to business? It's understanding money in terms of leadership. So I call it money leadership. I call it money management. I call it knowing how to leverage good debt. Because there's such thing as debt that's good, and you want to lean into that. Knowing how to plan, how to structure, and what are you planning for? And so the bigger picture is knowing why you're in business to begin with. What's the big why? And is that business going to be such that it's going to be successful? Sometimes you don't know. What you do know is if what you're providing is valuable to a niche, to a growing market. That's really critical.
Well, let's talk about the niches and the niches. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. What is your niche, and how does it apply to each of yours? Your generation, which is Generation Z, Aaliyah, and then Dr. Webb. You're more the baby boomers. Faith, you're a Gen Z too. And then also myself, I'm a Gen X. So it's all this, it's a great hyper multi generation of who we are as female entrepreneurs, as Black entrepreneurs, and then just as an American entrepreneurs. What does a niche mean, and how does it apply to your generation?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think that, you know, I look at life kind of like a tree or like animals and stuff like that. Like every animal, everybody in the ecosystem plays their role, right? In order to like keep the world going. You know what I'm saying? So when we think of our niches in business, I think of like, okay, we are each playing our role to help each generation move forward, right? So me personally, I focused on Generation Z, but you guys had to pass the baton on to me in order for me to help my generation, right? So with Generation Z, I know that we're very focused on like, you know, the internet, social media, like what's going on today, right? We don't have that, we don't know how to focus on one thing for like a long period of time, right? So I'm able to tap into that audience and be relatable and speak in a language where they can understand what I'm saying, and be like really important. It's really important to be relatable, right? Right, and speak about relative information. So that's my niche in my business, and I'm able to break down finances in a way and try to make it look cool, right? Because I think that's what like my generation really focuses on. We focus on like what's the cool thing, what's the popping thing, what's the thing that like, you know, lights up, what's the glittery thing, right? So because I know that's what we're into, and I'm into that stuff as well, I become that product, right? Because you have one thing my dad always taught me, it was that sometimes you got to put the candy in the medicine, right? I mean the medicine in the candy. Sorry, the
Got
medicine.
it. Got it. We understood.
And by doing that, you're educating people without them even knowing that they're being educated, or you're helping people, you're inspiring people just by being positive, right? So every negative thing that, you know, the world puts out, I try to be the opposite of that and try to be the positive light that looks cool so that people are still attracted to it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my niche and
Love
my
it.
and the things that, you know, I try to focus on.
I
Excellent.
love it.
Go ahead, Dr. Webb.
Well, perfect compliment. So the baby boomers, did a lot of us grew up with, is a sense of responsibility. I remember as a little girl hearing about the marches. So I was born in '58, and I remember messaging in the households that I was in. I was a foster kid, so I was in one household after another. But one in particular, where a lot of elders came in and were talking about just the nature of politics and how to influence and et cetera, et cetera. And I just remember a sense of responsibility. And as a kid, we were supposed to be quiet and not speak unless we were spoken to. And even then, we were supposed to be quiet and just listen. And so it caused me to reflect even deeper, like, and I never thought I'd become an educator. And yet that particular environment was right for preparing me to be an educator. And why? So I didn't go to college because I thought I was smart. In fact, I thought the inverse. I went to college because someone said that there was housing. So I ended up there and I was studying because I didn't want to lose my whatever I thought I had access to stay there. And I'm glad I didn't even realize that I was working full time and putting myself through school at some point. I didn't need the college or the university anymore. But in the meantime, I shifted. My whole wiring went from survival to thriving. And
Wow.
not thriving in a real sense of knowing what that meant, but recognizing that I could design my life. I didn't have to just survive. And so I wanted to give that to everybody. And that was part of what I was experiencing as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, listening to the elders come in and talk about the nature of the politics at the time. and why Blacks couldn't do something, or Latinos couldn't do something, and Native Americans couldn't do something, and whites, poor whites. And it was just very revealing. So that's fundamentally part of who I am. And I think I'm wired to want to ensure that we all understand that there's enough. There
There's
is
enough.
enough.
There is enough.
We are socialized to believe there's not enough. Therefore, we got to fight like crabs in the barrel. When in fact, when we decide there's enough, it's mindset. When we decide there's enough, we find a way. And that's why we, my team expanding, decide it's all about thinking big first. Not thinking small, and I think about what history says, leveraging history and recognizing that's past. What we have is now is the present, and it is in fact a present. And we get to leverage it in a way where we build a massive, remarkable future. So fundamentally, my niche is education. Now it's financial education, because I understand that when people understand that they could actually be financially free in one generation, get out the way. Not only do they have money freedom, they have time freedom to be with loved ones, to feel okay, to keep relationships healthy and make them healthier. And then they have location freedom. They can be anywhere they want to. They're not wedded and tied down to stress that leads to disease, early deaths, which two typify us. And they're
So,
also on the path to one more thing, to
mhm.
dealing with the fact that supposedly Black wealth it was supposed to erode by 2053. And then you and the remarkable Dr.
Dr.
Patricia,
Price.
Dr.
Yeah.
Price,
Yeah.
reminded me that actually it changed because of what? COVID
COVID.
19 pandemic. Black wealth is supposed to be eroded, eliminated by 2035. So we have work to do, because it's not going to be eroded by 2035. The vision
Not
that
if we
we have,
can't handle, not if we can help it and keeps.
and we can help it, and we are helping it.
Faith, how do you feel about this? Because I know you're going to be assisting me from behind the stage, but how do you feel about this
Yes.
conversation?
I think it's really inspiring how, despite the generational gap, um, education and influence is kind of the pushing drive that the both of you guys have. Um, you just said your niche is education, and Aaliyah was saying how she enjoys it while the work that she's doing is inspiring more people to, learn things, and she's like inspired to teach and continue to influence others in terms of their financial education. So I just think that like both of you guys kind of have similar goals, different stories, but similar goals, um, despite the generational gap that tends to happen. Um, so
That's really positive. Faith is going to be assisting from behind, and we're going to have some more special guests on to ask questions if they want to. So if they pop in, pop out, you'll see. But go ahead, continue to do your work behind stage, and I'll bring you back in just a second. Thank you, Faith. Okay, so the next question is, what do you think has shaped your thinking and feelings on about money and wealth? The difference is there's two differences. There's money and then there's wealth. Wealth has education around it. Money is just a means to an end, so to speak, a transaction. Everything's just transactional. So what are your feelings or your thinking about money and wealth as it relates to your business?
Yeah. So personally I think that I'll have to just speak from my background. So I grew up I'm only 20, right? So I grew up basically like in a situation where both of my parents were entrepreneurs, right? But I've seen, one side spend money wisely and do certain things with money, but then I've seen another parent just, kind of make a lot of money but not make the best financial decisions. So that's when, I just started to pay attention to certain things that was going on at the time. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to put a word to it, you know what I'm saying? But now that I'm into financial education, I understand that like we all have some type of form of financial trauma. And that is when I understood, okay, like, all right, this is why I want to do some of these things or make some of these financial choices. But then also we have to add like, outside factors. I grew up in the inner city, right? So growing up in the inner city in Brooklyn, New York, everything is fast paced. We want everything we see, everything's a competition. I go to school where we don't wear a uniform, so we got to be best dressed in school, have the latest sneakers and things like that. So all those things were like driving forces of why I wanted things and why I wanted to always have money or why I wanted to look like I had money. But then it wasn't until the pandemic when my mindset shifted, because I realized in the pandemic that was a time where everything got taken away from everybody. And you were just in a pandemic, I felt like you were just who you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your money didn't matter, none of that mattered. It's just like, who are you as a person?
Mm,
Right? What do you value as a person? Right. And I think that's what the pandemic brought
love
out
it.
in a lot of people. And the pandemic gave me time to like sit back and understand and really figure out my value system. And that's when I got first introduced into financial literacy. And I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Mm,
Think and Grow Rich. And as I started to read these books and listen to podcasts, my mindset started to shift. And that's when I was like, okay, financial literacy, understanding how money works, understanding how to grow your money, right? Understanding that like assets, the difference between an asset and a liability. Like I didn't know that my whole entire life until my like 10th, ninth, 10th grade year of college. You know what I'm saying? So once I started to see the difference of the things, I'm like, I've been living it wrong the whole my whole time. Like, I've been uninformed and miseducated.
mm,
And basically I just said like, I want to be wealthy, right? I don't want to have to depend on other people. I don't want to have to depend on the government. I want to be able to provide for others. I want to be able to be the person that people call on when they need something. I want to be a resource
mm,
to other people. And I understood that building wealth isn't even just about money. Building wealth is also understanding concepts, understanding skills, understanding knowledge. And that's when I just started to change my relationship with money and understand that like the my relationship with money was changing, and that like my mindset towards money was changing. I wasn't so money hungry, as in like I literally before the pandemic I used to calculate the amount of hours I would work, right? I would get paid $15 an hour. I knew these sneakers that I wanted. These sneakers are $600. I need to figure out, okay, I'm gonna work this many hours to get these $600 sneakers. And I used to work those hours, you know what I'm saying? That hard just for a brand. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then like
mm,
my mindset started to shift. I was like, what made me want to do that? You know what I'm saying? So I think like that's really, how I knew that my feelings and towards money and wealth was changing. And now I do everything the complete opposite. Now I'm thinking, okay, when I get $1, how can I grow this dollar? When I get $20, how can I grow this $20? When I make money, my first instinct is to pay myself. It's not to go spend it. Or even when I do get, caught up in the, oh, I gotta go buy this, this, and this, I say, okay, wait, hold on. Let me rethink that. Let me go put a portion aside and then go buy this and this and this. And just, last thing I want to say is I'm a firm believer of that. You can be financially free and fly, right? Because I think there's like a misconception of like you got to change your whole entire life. You can't do anything when you're trying to build wealth. You have to make sacrifices, but you can still get the things you want and stuff like that. But it's just timing, So
Yeah, it is just time, and I love that. Go ahead, Dr. Webb.
Let me say, I know folks in their 70s and 80s, and quite frankly, a few friends who are no longer here in their 90s, who didn't have the level of insight yet had a lot of money, as you do, Aaliyah. So I am extremely proud of you
thank
because
you.
we know that folks are brilliant. It's all about what you do with that brilliance, and you're choosing to invest. So what really shook me at my core was witnessing a lot of folks homeless. In one of the wealthiest places on planet, there is no reason for anyone
Yes.
in this country to be homeless.
Nobody.
And that every time I see a person homeless, and when I think a family member is going to be homeless, I step right in and it's like, oh no, not on my watch. It doesn't make sense to me unless we really don't care about each other. And I know some folks really don't care. It's about all them. And whether it's because of some kind of psychological issue or they firmly believe there's not enough for everybody, we can change that overnight. So that's my responsibility. And the other thing that shifted me was learning a phrase I had never heard before. Someone asked me to help her. Someone I had hired and promoted years ago who's now an entrepreneur doing a thing. And I said yes, because that's what I do with people, whether I care about them or not. If I can say yes, I say yes. Probably too much, but I say yes. And then I kept saying yes. And the more I said yes, I kept reading this particular term, index account. And as I studied, I realized, oh my gosh, here I am. I'm now 64. I'll be 65 soon. But I was almost 62 and I had never heard of that phrase. So I got the power of zero. I soon thereafter got the laser fund. I got a bunch of books, The Family Bank, Money, Wealth, and Life Insurance. I bought, the Financial Pocket Life. I probably bought about 60 books in 3 months, and I systematically, over the course of whatever months, read them all. And some of them read them a second time, and a few a third time. And I had already read what you were talking about, Aaliyah, the Think and Grow Rich, which is really about mindset. That title was a marketing title, because if it said, the importance of mindset, no one would have bought it. Now it's the most popular book on the planet. And the wealthiest among the wealthy have read that book. And most people, you say, oh yeah, I read that book years ago. It's fundamental to my understanding. It's transformative. When he was alive and tried to get it into schools, and people were looking at him like, askance, like, who are you? You don't have anything. And, we know your history, blah, 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 blah. And yet the fundamentals of mindset, growth mindset in particular, the fundamentals of literally having a passion, a burning desire for something, and letting that drive you are two preconditions to great success. So those were the reasons why. Unhoused, the fact that I didn't know about these terms, and these terms are freedom. The ultra wealthy have been using particular IRS codes, foreign in particular, to ensure that their wealth continues for generations. The Vanderbilts had the most money. Cornelius, when he was alive, and yet within 2-3 generations, it was all gone. And yet the Rockefellers and other names, they've got generational wealth because they've leveraged IRS codes. So that's why I'm passionate about this right now. Black folks, Latinos, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, poor folks literally can shift that, like turning this upside down and saying, this is past, this is future, but right now we only have now. Let's leverage now, so when we get through the future, we're in a completely different state because we changed our mindset now.
Well, that's powerful. That is really powerful. That leads us to what Aaliyah asked when we were just having a conversation amongst each other. Like, if you had all the money in the world, how would that apply? How would you apply it to your business? We know we have to set up infrastructure. Think that. You have to protect yourself with some insurances, your licenses. You have to separate your assets. What can you give as insight to, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do with it, so to speak?
So if I had all the money in the world, I think that I'm gonna speak from a personal standpoint of things I would do in my business. I would definitely I want to create. I feel like sometimes you inspire people by your actions, but you also inspire people by the things that you can do for them in that moment. Right. So I want to be able to actually change people's lives. Like, when you could make something happen for somebody in that moment, in that second, people are like, whoa, like it's like a life changer for them. So I think some experiences that I was able to have, I want to create those opportunities and experiences for other people. Right. So similarly, I had the opportunity to travel to Ghana, right, for my first time to Africa. And I feel like that was a life-changing experience for me. And that was fully funded trip. And it opened my mind to so many things. So now I advocated for, under my student government association at my school, every year, my friend, I'm a student government association vice president. So the president and I advocated to make sure that every year our university takes a group of students to Africa every single year. Right. So I think that I asked that question to actually switch it and say, don't just think about what you would do when you have the money. Think about what you would do with the resources now. Because a lot of times, we can do the things that we want to do, right? It may not be to the extent that we want to do it, but we can make things happen, right? So think about all the things that you want to do for other people. Like, I know I want to have my own fund to take people to Africa and to travel, but personally I can't do it right now. But what I can do is put other people in position to make it possible, right? So as you answer that question, or as you think, anybody listening, as you think about that question, think about, okay, these are the things I would do if I had all the money in the world. But okay, how can I use my resources now to make those things possible?
I
Excellent.
love it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Absolute brilliance. Yeah, I would accelerate getting individuals, families, and business leaders to generational and financial wealth. And I do it through incentives. So you're 100%. I agree with you, Aaliyah. As I thought about your smart question, I thought about, okay, what do people need? Now what they need and what they ask for and what they take advantage of is when I give them something small. A lot of folks say, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Well, that's your mindset. Something small in order to get them to move forward. And so use funds as incentives, and has developed whatever it is, like contracts with them that works for them. For the unhoused, get them housed. It's not my idea. Someone else has the idea and it's more brilliant. But basically, house all the unhoused. Give them a contract that says, as part of your being housed, you don't have to pay anything. You have to go through this financial education experience. You have to leverage a coach. You get to decide which one is going to be your coach, your mentor. And then on a regular basis, here's what you receive. It's a gift. And one could choose not to leverage it. That's okay. It's all about choice. But then build in that incentive. They've got the basics taken care of. Anything they want beyond that, provide with the opportunity for that. They want to be part of the maintenance team, they sign up. They want to be part of the building team, they sign up, get educated. They want to be part of, literally take that and do that for one part of our community, and then ask the community, what do they need? So I don't know what's best. Someone doesn't have shoes, maybe he or she never wants to wear shoes. What they need are clothes. What they need is some healthy food. What they need is clean water. So it's a matter of working with the community, find out what they need, and then literally working in partnership with others to make it happen. Because one person doesn't make a transformative effect. When I partner with people, it's amazing. Ideas that I could never have thought of myself, they come into fruition. And maybe no individual could have done that. But collectively, because we're sharing our ideas, our own brilliance, our difficulties, or even our challenges, and we're creating friction, remarkable idea comes out of that.
So this is awesome. The balance of this conversation is, we're trying to make sure that our audience members can challenge themselves, especially if they are entrepreneurs, are currently or in the rise. You have to have your mindset shaped. You have to control. You can't control a lot of things in so many aspects of the environment of business, but you can control how your business responds to things. Not jump all in, but slowly take your time to find its way out of the muck. So that's ask this next question. Are there financial tools that businesses can use to avoid for another financial crisis? We know that the big end for anything could be near for somebody's personal health and life.
Yes.
COVID was just so unpredictable with but it wasn't. There was warning signs there that industry leaders said if there was a big earthquake, industry leaders said if there was a financial crash, this was a healthcare crisis. Pandemics have happened before over centuries. The plague. We had, hysteria, during the turn of the century in the 1900s. People were going around, catching cholera or other thing. Or if you go to other parts of the world, they experience health care issues and health crises that affects their business, their economics. So what can the tools as Americans, what can we do to provide, to put inside our house and our financial structure for our businesses?
One, I would say make sure that you have an established business, right? I think a lot of times people think because let's say you have a business where you sell cupcakes, right? If your business is not an actual entity like an LLC, a corporation, anything like that, you're just a business owner, right? You're just not even a sole proprietor at that point because you don't even like physically own it, right? So the government has to know that your business exists, right? So you have to have an actual entity. With that entity, you'll be able to separate yourself from that business, right? So you'll have some type of liability, and you'll be able to take advantage of different tax benefits, right? So that's the first financial thing that you want to do, right? Making sure that you have a business entity. In order to get a business entity, all you have to do is go to your business department. I mean, sorry, your state's Department of State website and create it. Or you can go to any of those websites that can create it for you and you get help by a lawyer and things like that, right? So that's the first step. Second step, I would say, is also making sure that once you have that business entity, making sure that you have a business bank account. You have to start separating your personal finances from your business finances, because if anything happens to you personally, you want to be able to have your personal money to take care of that. Anything happens to your business, you want to be able to have your business money take care of that as well. Third, you also want to make sure that you are understanding your numbers and making sure that your business is profitable, right? And also, even if your business is not profitable, making sure that you have money on cash reserves, right? Just like any business that you will want to invest in. You want to invest in a business that has money on the side, just in case things like pandemics happen. It's still able to sustain itself no matter what, right? So you want to make sure you have a business entity, make sure you have a business bank account so that you're separating your personal finances from your business finances. And you third want to make sure that you are what's the last point? I just had a brain freeze. The last point I said. You want to make sure that you what's the last point?
It'll come back. You got so much brilliance there. Take your time.
Yeah, I just had a brain freeze. But yeah, so yeah, y'all get the last point, right? So that's all the things that y'all want to make sure that you do to ensure that you're protecting your business from any other crisis and things like that. Cash
Yeah,
money on reserve. That's what I said. Cash money on reserve.
Thank you.
I'll compliment you. And this is a little redundant, but I'll try not to be so redundant. Be sure, in addition to ensuring that you've got a legitimate business, a federal EIN number, state, you're paying your state local taxes accordingly. But be sure to provide products and services that are in demand, that solve some kind of problem, or address some kind of need, whatever it is. And I mean that broadly, because I don't want people who are in the artistic realm saying, I wonder if I'm solving a problem. Yes, you are. We need the arts. They serve in such incredible ways, and the arts are not just the creative arts that you see on canvas, but it's also sports and entertainment. The other is plan. Ensure that you have, this is complimentary to you, Aaliyah, that you have at least 12 months of emergency funds. And I recommend, I've always said 12 months, I recommend 24 months now. And I know that seems kind of strange because most textbooks says 3 to 6 months. I've always said 12 months. Now I'm saying 24 months. And the other thing is preserve the revenue separate from that 12 months of emergency funds. Preserve your cash flow. Have your funds or your accounts in particular locations where you cannot lose the principal nor the growth that is occurring on that money. Hear me, folks. And then, so you're protecting that money that's compounding, and then you're able to access that money because it has liquidity when you need it to buy equipment or to purchase someone's time as a contractor or a temporary employee or a permanent employee until you build the revenue base. The other is know and continuously track what's happening in your particular industry or the market. Have key performance indicators that give you a sense of where you're at in relationship to where you want to be, not only in relationship to competition. Then know your needs short term and long term. That's part of, just making sure you've got money set aside. Know the big picture. Uh, I, 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 I don't think it's amazing, incredible, brilliant people running mid-sized and large organizations, and you ask them about their numbers and they don't know their numbers. Oh, I just had that with somebody else. And it's scary. Continuously assess risk and performance. And
I
so,
have to pause you there, Dr. Webb. I think that is a nail on the head when you don't know your revenue stream, the data, all the stuff that supports. That's why a lot of businesses went under during crises because they couldn't go to a lending source or get a government grant to protect themselves because they didn't know their data. They couldn't prove it and back it up. So, wow, that's really powerful. It also lends to why people can't get to the next level. And that's another one of our questions. Why do people say they do not have enough money to take their business to the next level? So, what will you guys say about that?
I want to have a conversation about this because part of the reason why is they don't really know the workforce demands. So they're bringing more people on than they can afford or they have insufficient. They don't know their budget demands, liquidity needs, agreements with partners, whether it's with independent contractors or other organizations, may be a little bit too tight or too loose. There's a lot of uncertainty. Now, with business, there can be uncertainty and you can still thrive. But if there's uncertainty in every area and you're just operating on passion, that's where there's some problems. What say you, Aaliyah?
Yeah, I would just speak from experience. Like something that I'm generally working on, like especially this year because I'm about to graduate college and I'm gonna go all in with entrepreneurship, is understanding my numbers and really separating my finances. Like because I established the LLC, but in a business bank account. But because I was a new entrepreneur, I didn't really understand like the importance of like separating my finances. Like maybe, let's say I need to go get some hoodies for my business. I would just go use my personal credit card and just, use that because that's the only line of credit I had at the time. But then I had to really just understand that like, I want to keep all my business expenses and all my business profits on with just one card with my business and get business credit, right? Because when I, like you said, when I do go to people to get grants, when I do go to people to ask for money or to pull lines of credit, or when I'm trying to build partnerships and they ask me certain things, I wasn't prepared, right? I wasn't prepared to know. And while I'm young, it's like okay, I'm willing to help you. But as I get older in entrepreneurship, it's going to be a standard that you should know these things, right? This is how you do business. If you want something, you got to be prepared for it. So these are the things that I'm learning. And sometimes, you have to make these mistakes to understand, how to do something and to keep your business forward. But that's why we have, these type of conversations to help you guys prevent yourselves from making these mistakes and things like that.
I want to give you a shout out, Aaliyah, because we're all entrepreneurs on this call and those who are listening. But you kept pushing through.
Thank you.
You used your personal credit card because you didn't have XYZ established already, but that's not a bad mistake when you're just getting started. It's just those processes until you have establishments. And sometimes those establishments take time for some people, especially if they're rebuilding their credit, especially when they're trying to get some type of stability. You're going to be like this, a teeter-totter for a minute. You're going to be like, oh.
Yes, and I'm glad that you brought up that point because I think sometimes like when we have these conversations, like people think like you got to start off all perfect, and that's what kind of discourages people from starting because you never start off perfect. You work towards perfection. Like you always start off like just start from where you are and just figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like continuously build. Like you always have to be working towards something. So if you try to wait until you're perfect, you'll be waiting until the cows come home. So I'm happy that you like really brought up that point and like I don't really look at anything. So I'm actually my bad for saying mistake. I don't really look at things as mistakes. I look at it as like, okay, I had to learn how to do that, or I had to, okay, I learned that. Okay, I needed that. Like just the other day, I was on a call and somebody asked me like, okay, after a school finishes your course, right, or your 6-week program, what are the outcomes? Like, what are the actual outcomes? And I didn't have that down in writing, right? Like, I was able to say it, like, I see it, I know what the outcomes are. I speak to the students all the time. I see them have like shifts in the way they think about money and things like that. But I didn't have that in writing. And then as she spoke to me, she said, "Yeah, you'll need to like put that down as powerful information. People are gonna want to know like what do I gain after working with you?" And that was like it was a learning lesson for me. And
Exactly.
I wrote it down and I read and I typed it up, and you know what I'm saying? So like you learn as you go and feel comfortable at learning. And that's why I started so young, because I just want to be a blueprint for other people to let them know like you just kind of start and just figure it out, as you go.
Yeah, and there's so many folks around the planet who just did what you're doing, and maybe not even as well as you're doing, and they chose to fail forward. And I love failing forward. I don't. It feels uncomfortable. It actually feels painful sometimes. But the reason why I love it is because I think I'm learning. And then when I reflect, I realize I have some extraordinary experience, new experience that allows me to be successful in the next moment. So it's important that we just move and we act and not just spend most of our time analyzing, trying to make things perfect.
Yep.
Well, Alexis Ohanian, who is the husband, he's a serial entrepreneur and he's the husband of Serena Williams, the goddess on tennis. Okay. Hello. The
Yes,
goat.
awesome.
We
The
have to give her
extraordinary.
props. He always says when he's talking about, entrepreneurialism and just going forward and starting a business, especially in tech, just do it. Just do it. Get out of your head. Get out of your thinking. Just tinker, get in there and make mistakes and, correct them. The industry was built around all the pros, the cons, the ups, the downs. It was built around that. Matter of fact, Google and the rest of those social media, internet and / social media companies, TikTok and IG and the rest of them,
The same thing.
They created all this wonderful space to showcase products and services and business. But then the consumer like you and I got on there and reinvented what they created. And then they had to go, wait a second. Okay, so we weren't expecting you to use that for that. So now we got to create a whole nother product that relates to that because you just taught us something that we never thought. Your ideas, people, your ideas can be the paper clip to that paper, the pencil, to the notebook. You guys are the fundamentals. That's the ebb and the flow, the yin and the yang. Don't stop. Don't stop, won't stop. That's Diddy. Don't stop, won't stop. Or actually, Love, he's now called Love, right? Diddy called Love or something like that. Shout out to Diddy. Let's ask one final question, and I kind of want you to sum it up. What do you need to do to break the financial trauma? And how do you, it's to stop bringing that into your business. What do you need to do to break the financial trauma, stop bringing that into your business so that you can discover true wealth?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm glad that we're like touching on this as we're ending, because I think this is going to leave like those last thoughts in people's minds. I think that one, you have to know what financial trauma is, right? And understanding where your financial trauma comes from. So financial trauma is basically just like any other type of trauma, but as it relates to money, right? So you have to understand like what type of trauma, financial trauma do you have? In some cases, people have financial trauma where they're always holding on to money because they may have grown up in an environment where they didn't have as much. So now that they have money, they feel like they have to hold on to it, right? And that's necessarily not good in most cases, right? In some cases, some people always spending money because they grew up always seeing people spending money, or maybe they grew up seeing people not spending money. So now that they have money, they feel like they have to go get everything, right? So it's all these different types of financial trauma. So you have to figure out, okay, what's my relationship with money? And where did I get it from? Is it my mom? Is it my dad? Is it my grandparents? Is it, I grew up with my friends or the inner city? Like, figure out, like, where did your financial trauma come from? And how do you bring that into your business? One, it is personal, right? So a lot of people think that the way they act as entrepreneurs is going to be completely different than the way they act as regular people. What you bring into your entrepreneurship is just who you're going to bring in, who you are.
Who you are.
If you're not good with your personal finances, you're not going to be good with your business finances. So first, start with yourself. Start with it within. Unlearn all those financial traumas. Unlearn all those negative things when it comes to money. Read podcasts. Read books, right? Listen to podcasts. Get a mentor, right? Get a coach, right? Get somebody who can help you. Get somebody who could guide you, right? And just start shifting your mindset when it comes to money. Start changing your relationship when it comes to money. And then what you do in your personal level is going to match what you do in your business, because now you're learning all this information. You're going to have those aha moments like, oh shoot, I can do this in my business. I could, like, you're going to have all these aha moments that's just going to change your life and then change everybody around you lives. So that's the way that I would like to, like, answer that question.
Yes. And so go ahead, please.
No, I just really, honestly, I just want to take just a quick, breathe and stop kind of moment. A lot of people want us to be empathetic with every situation. Woe is me. It's like, help me, help me, help me. And you help them so much that they don't know how to help themselves. And if you continue to be a part of that systemic cycle, it's okay to get grace. It's okay to receive blessings. It's okay to get a hand, somebody pull you along because nobody ever shown you. That is nothing wrong with that. But with every aspect of your life, it's a dramatic sob. I don't have enough. I will never be there. I'm always broke. But you buying something that's nonsense, or you going to some place and shaking your good thing, but not investing in your livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you hear what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, the bottom line is words, feelings, actions all vibrate. And they tell the universe that's exactly who you are.
Yeah.
I don't have. The universe says, okay, you have. I've never had. You will never have. These people have mistreated me. You're going to be mistreated in the future. Those details may be factually correct. Stop speaking them. Stop feeling it. And the way to stop it is to replace it. You've got to replace old habits with new habits. There's something called conscious mind and subconscious mind. The conscious mind is what we think drives us. We write it down, we're going to do a thing, and we do a thing. And that's factually not correct. It's the emotional mind that drives our behavior. The conscious mind is where we make decisions. The emotional mind is where we feel, and it drives our action. So what we have to do is take control of that conscious mind, that intellectual mind, that decision-making mind, and literally use a new habit, install it at the subconscious level. I know I'm going to a different level, folks, but install it at the subconscious level with a new habit. So every day for at least 20 days, 30 days, 60 days, 100 days, before you know it's a new habit. Install a new habit, even if it's just when you get up in the morning, don't get off on the right, get off on the right side. Well, I got to go over my husband or my wife or my maid or my dog or whatever. Do it. Shift, change everything. Go into the bathroom if you can another way. Decide you're going to give yourself a message every morning when you wake up and before you go to bed. I am wonderful. I am awesome. I am creating. I am wealthy. I am worthy. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable, it should, because that's not part of your history. Shift. Write the words down if you can't say it initially. Put it someplace that's sacred where no one can dishonor it, and move into that space. To at some point you wake up and you just normally get off on the other side of the bed. You go into the bathroom in a different way. You walk with a bounce. You have a pep in your step. You've got pride. You've got inner confidence. It's not cockiness. You love yourself, even if you don't like everything about you. You move in a way where you know what you need to know, even if you don't know it right now, because it's coming to you from the universe. We are vibrating, folks. We're connected to all life. That's what I love what you said starting off, Aaliyah. We're connected to all life. When we understand that we're really one, we understand our capacity to shift things in an instant.
In an instant.
Yeah.
This is
And
powerful. This is a conversation that needs to go on and on and on and on and more than some, because we're unpacking. But I want to give you guys your final thoughts. Aaliyah, tell us a little bit about your company. And you spell a little different. People kept correcting me, and I kept saying no.
No.
Tell us a little bit about your company, what services and programs you offer.
yeah, so once again, I am the founder of Financial Revolutionn, which is my business where I teach financial literacy, and my goal is just to help build generational wealth in the Black community. So initially, I started off just on Instagram, dropping financial content every day, talking about what's going on economically, just talking about financial literacy and just like how to budget, investing in stocks and things like that. But now I'm actually in schools. And I'm teaching. I have a curriculum where I'm breaking down financial literacy, financial trauma, budgeting, investing in the stock market, credit, what is credit, and things like that. And I offer those in schools, and I offer curriculums. I also am an author. I'm the author of the Blueprint for Investing Volume 1, which gives readers a step-by-step guide on how to get started investing in the stock market. And I also have a financial planner, right? It's called the $1 Billion Plan. It comes with a 12-month financial monthly template, budget template. Sorry, it comes with 10 commandments of building wealth, and it comes with a quote every month. And lastly, I also created a rap card game. It's called Rap Cards, and it's a financial literacy game where I took the rap lyrics that we listen to in our music, and I turned it into a financial literacy game. So those are just the different products and services that I offer and things like that.
And why do you spell revolution like that? I'm just curious.
Oh, yeah, I always get that question. Yes. So it's Financial Revolutionn, and the extra N stands for network, right? Because I believe that I can't do anything alone, right? Everything is with everybody else. So I love Jay-Z, right? And Jay-Z, he calls himself like the Blueprint. He has the Blueprint album, right? So I like mirror the blueprint and things like that. So I think I'm the blueprint for my generation, right? And what we do with our finances and how to, change our trajectory and things like that. So I just kind of call it Financial Revolutionn Network, right? And I'm the blueprint, and I'm building a network. I'm building a team with other people and other entrepreneurs and like-minded folks.
Yeah, I would say him and the great Nas are some of the two legacy holders of hip hop that really talk about entrepreneurialism, wealth, and the mindset. Oh, Young Jeezy too. Talk about it in a way that's like, whoa, you just have to listen. Nipsey Hussle, rest his soul in power, talked about it in a whole nother level if you listen to their lyrics. So yeah, if you're gonna listen to stuff, listen to the right stuff. Don't be just listening to some garbage out there. Okay, so Dr. Webb, the founder of Signature Solutions Corporate Results. That's a unique name. Tell us why, and what services do you provide?
Literally, Signature Solutions can get people to understand that one can have something so special that it's akin to the significance of a special fingerprint. So the solution is specific to that individual's signature. It's not a universal one size fits all. Why corporate result? I was inspired. I wanted people to get it right away. This is serious business. Ensuring that individuals, families, and business leaders understand how to build generational and financial wealth. And wealth, as you said beautifully, Denise, is more than just money. It begins and ends with the mindset. And there are other assets that are so critical. And fundamentally, the values of faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun are critical to that wealth equation. So finance is only one part of it. And the priority is 1 million families financially independent. Why? Because that 1 million families literally will know, each family will know at least one other family, and maybe up to 10 intimately. And ideally, they will influence those. And the ripple effect, ideally, will touch at least 1 billion lives. This is people use crusade, they use all kinds of words. I don't even know the right way to describe it, adjective to use. The bottom line is to facilitate a level of peace and well-being across the globe and using money as one means to get there. That's it. With 10,000 licensed financial professionals within the next 3 to 5 years, 500 this year. So those of you who see this as something you're interested in, contact me. And ensuring that the financial professionals are themselves wealthy. So we demonstrate the power of this by doing it ourselves, because we're then facilitating it among other people. The best way to facilitate something in others, as Aaliyah said beautifully, and you demonstrate, Denise, is by doing it ourselves, right?
Well, this has been an awesome adventure, you guys. Thank you. I just want to have final thoughts. This is Elevate Your Game, the Entrepreneurs Academy. We host it once a month. And this is a very special event because both of these beautiful, intellectual, powerful people have came on to talk to us about the business strategy of wealth, of a wealthy mindset. And if you keep reversing your thinking and thinking you can't, you'll never make it. All you need is 1 inch, 1 inch forward, just an inch, just an inch, just an inch, and you can make it. Again, my name is Mrs. Denise Parker, and this is Elevate Your Game. Until next week, I'll see you soon. Bye.